Good evening, everyone. This is Dick Payne reporting for DPR Deeper News, and it's another day of the evening news with no nonsense. This is straightforward news, the only stories you want to know, okay? A lot of news channels, they have some interesting stories, and then the rest is just fluff, just crap, really. Let's cut through all of that. Obviously, this is maybe considerably longer than Friday's episode, purely because we've got the news over the weekend as well to go through. Take of that what you will. I think last Friday the episode was about 15-20 minutes long, so if you haven't got that amount of time, then you might want to bookmark this for later or something like that, because I'm sure this will be again considerably longer. We might be looking at like 40 minutes, so just keep that in mind, and if you want to hang about and hear the good stuff, then please do. So we're going to jump straight into it. The first story that I've saved from this weekend was the Labour minister that was asked on Sky News, is there a growing sense of despair in Britain? And he said no. Now, the reason I sort of saved this story and thought I'd just like to chime in there and say, yes, there is a big growing sense of despair in Britain right now. In fact, it's palpable, it's tangible, it's really, really everywhere. You cannot escape it. And then, of course, there's more and more people talking about like getting stab vests and weapons ready for when they go out in public, and I completely understand it. So not much of a story there, but I just wanted to put my my opinion in on it, because just an absolute joke. There you go. So we've got a story here, a major incident in Kent where armed police were called to a railway station in Faversham after a guy was sort of seen around that area with intent to kill order, it says. Whatever that means, I don't know if he was... Oh, it does say, yeah, he was making threats with a knife in the area. No confirmation of anything yet on the arrested individual, no ethnicity or anything like that, what his intentions were, why he had a knife in the first place. Just no information on that whatsoever. Because of obviously what happened Friday evening, I believe it was. There, a lot of these stories have just been overlooked because of what happened. It just that Huntington story just blew up everywhere, and everything else kind of got swept aside. So yeah, it's one of those things, I'm afraid, where one story just completely knocks everything else out of the water, and you're not going to get any news in Edgware, Edgware, because everyone's just talking about that one story, which is, of course, what happened. It was quite a very, very bad incident, and should never be forgotten. It should never happened in the first place. But we're going to go into that, actually. There are a couple of further developments on that story, the Huntington guy that stabbed 10 people. We're going to hit on that in a moment. So our second story is the A52 in Nottinghamshire was shut down for hours after army lorry overturns. Now, this is not a particularly interesting story. It's just a lorry that overturned. I just found it funny, though, to be honest. It's one of those things, no one got hurt, but it's one of those things where the army are supposed to be so, you know, everyone's like, Britain's got the best army in the world, so well trained and all this kind of thing. And it's just like, maybe we used to, maybe, but not anymore. I really don't think so. We've got a lot of DEI. You could probably say we've probably got one of the most DEI armies in the world now. Whether that's a strength or not, I don't know. I'm guessing not. Yeah, because this lorry obviously that was carrying a armored vehicle. It obviously was just not handled properly, not dealt with properly, and yeah, that's what you get from having people doing a job that they're underqualified to do, or people that just don't care because, you know, they're gonna get their sort of money anyway because they're there because of the way they look or the way they are, some kind of special treatment because of yeah, there you go. What can you do? Okay, so our next story. Again, that wasn't one that was particularly interesting. I just wanted to say that it was funny, really, to be honest. That our joke, that our everything in our, it just seems everything in our country right now is such a joke. Nothing works in our country. Nothing works in Great Britain. So the next story, again, this is just a quick one. I'm going to bust through these pretty quick. King Charles sends a message of support to the Huntington victims. I just wanted to basically say fuck you to King Charles. Definitely not my king. As far as I'm concerned, the royal kind of empire, the royal family ended with Queen Elizabeth. She was an excellent queen. She was fantastic in my opinion. And maybe Prince William will kind of sway it back round. I've kind of got good feeling about him, you know. Harry can fuck off. I could not give a toss about Harry. He can disappear into Brazil or somewhere, or Congo, for all I give a fuck. So maybe he'll be able to turn it around again, old Prince William. But I mean, can it be? Can it be? I think everyone's just had enough, to be honest. So the next story is a 41 home development near College Close, Great Casterton, has been approved by the planning inspector after Rutland County Council refusal. So Rutland County Council have refused this development of 41 homes, but it has then been reconsidered by the sounds of it, and it's being approved now. Now you'll probably find that was refused in the first place because it was maybe on, you know, Greenland or something like that, and because of Labour, UK Labour, just wanting to appear to be doing a good job, they are just kicking everything out the window and just saying, you know, get houses built. And if it's an area where they've already got the infrastructure that would be easily sort of spread from one sort of street to another street and sort of double them up, then obviously they will do that. You could go for the greener route and choose somewhere more appropriate for a development, but why would you? It's much cheaper to go in an area, destroy a bit of nature and the countryside, and then more cheaply go off infrastructure, obviously in terms of water, electricity, gas and things, much more cheaply. Quite simply, I've got two housing developments around me at the moment. Very concerned about who the hell is going in there. Yeah, I'm hoping they don't get finished. I'm hoping something happens that will prevent it from being finished. There is one just around the corner as well that's been completed. It does seem, from what I've seen, it's been completed about a year now, I think, and they do seem to have good British people living there, or, you know, Europeans living there. that contribute. So which is obviously fine. It is what it is. But as long as there's no immigrants, invaders, or anything that get in there, that's the main thing. I mean, obviously, I'd prefer if these houses weren't built at all, but c'est la vie, you know. C'est la vie to nature and green areas. So we have Suffolk Garden City could become UK's first new city in half a century. The independent Suffolk Garden City could become the worst. Oh, that's just reading the same thing again, aren't I? So let's see if I can click on that and bring up more news. No. Okay. Oh, I see what I've done. There's the main story is underneath it. So this is basically just about a few housing developments that are going on in different areas. So you've got Suffolk Garden City, could become the UK's first new city in half a century. That's pretty interesting, I think, you know. But again, do we want it? Do we need it? Can we not just get rid of these invaders? Who's going to occupy that city? Invaders. That'll be it. And it'll just become an absolute cesspit. Look at Birmingham now, look at Manchester, look at London, they're all just cesspits. Just too much immigration, too many people that just cannot control themselves because they've never had to, you know? So we've got the gorgeous little village rammed with 70 independent shops. What's this? I think I did, pardon me, over the weekend I did a few, there was a lot of sort of new build and stuff stories coming through, so I think I sort of picked the biggest three kind of thing and went with that because obviously I want people to know that houses are going up around you. And even if there's nothing going on in your area at the moment, there will be soon. There absolutely will be. So please just keep an eye on your council, what they're doing, and as soon as they mention anything about development, straight on it. No, we don't want that now. Yeah, don't let me get down, people. So Windswept Moors Haworth looks much the same as it might have been. Bronte sisters walked its cobbled streets, painted rather than corporate logos. Oh, this is a story. Hang on. So this is a story about a village that's pretty much untouched by any kind of external to that village sort of economic problems. This is, where was it? It's this moorland village keeps history and community live on its cobbled streets and rows of independent businesses. So it's a lovely little village. I don't think they're going to tell us where it is because they don't want us going there ruining it, or they don't want immigrants and invaders going there and fucking it up. So it's somewhere in Yorkshire. Yorkshire village. It's got all of the businesses down there. There's 70 of them in this village, 70 businesses, and they're all independent businesses. There's no Starbucks, no Costa, no McDonald's or anything like that by the sounds of it. It's all just independent, you know, local community businesses, which is fantastic. And it really genuinely does look lovely as well. So, you know, it's good to hear. I'm sure this isn't the only one in Britain that is just completely untouched from external violence that we have to live with and external economic woes that we have to live with here in Britain now. So that's a bit of a feel-good story that perhaps some villages, at least some, very few I would have thought, are actually maintaining their Britishness and are actually doing well economically speaking, in terms of businesses and whatnot within the area. I would imagine though, when those houses come up for sale, like intermittently, they will be worth so much in a few years' time, because again, if it's a village that's untouched by what's currently going on in Britain, then a lot of people will pay a lot of money to kind of grab at a little bit of the past, to try and live in the past a little bit. I know I certainly would, definitely. Okay. So this is about Spittlegate Heath Garden Village in Grantham, with 3,700 new homes. So if you're from Grantham, just be aware that there is a lot of development that's likely to be going on around you in Grantham. If you are a person that lives backing onto a field, your house backs onto a field, or anything like that, then it might be worth looking at selling your house now while it's still worth good money, and moving elsewhere, than waiting until all these houses go up around it, and you don't have fields behind you or to the side of you or anything like that. It might be worth selling it now and beat that basically before houses go up around it, and then you'll lose money on that property, because obviously it's not an open property anymore, is it? It's not an open view kind of property. It's just not. When I was moving up to Lincolnshire, actually there was a house. It was beautiful, big open, big double front doors, big lovely wooden double front doors. Every room in this house, I think there was in total about 15 rooms or something in this house, and all of them were absolutely massive. The living room itself was just ridiculously huge. It was, honestly, it was ridiculous. And we were so ready to buy that house. We really were. It ticked all of the boxes. And then then I found out that house was basically just going to be built around that. It backed onto a great big field. Basically, you were just surrounded by fields. And yeah, everything on that field, everything in that facility was just going to be built on. And so I just said, no, I'm not going to buy it and then have it depreciate in value, because, yeah, you get the idea. And I just wouldn't want to bloody live just with people around. Just fuck off. Do you know what I mean? If I want to talk to people, I'll talk to you guys, or I'll go into town or something and have a pint and talk to somebody in the pub. But other than that, just leave me the bloody hell alone. So our next story is about school children being taught that Nigel Farage and the Reform Party are a right-wing extremist party. They've compared to Farage to Hitler, and I think this is absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely just ridiculous that teachers can get away with this. You don't teach children political views or any ideology. You teach them facts, and that's it pretty much. You know, you teach them the rules of the world and facts. That's pretty much it. History, you know, you get what I'm saying, but you don't teach them bloody ideology and nonsense. Basically, it's the same as all this bloody, you can be anything you want. If you want to be a girl, be a girl. If you want to be a boy, be a boy. If you want to be everything in between and nothing, you know, you can do that. Fuck off. No, you can't. Jesus Christ. The thing is, when you teach somebody something like that, by the time they come to going into work life, they'll quickly realise no one gives a shit anymore. It's like, I've had a couple of apprentices that have worked for me, and they've said like, oh, you know, I want to be known as they, them, not she, her. And I've said, yeah, that's fine. You know, that's absolutely fine. And I don't care as long as you can do the bloody job. That's the only thing I care about. You know, and I'll do it. I'll happily call you they, them, or whatever the fuck. You know, it's no different from learning a name. But it's not something that should be encouraged because it's not important. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't think anyone is going to be looking at a CV and say this one's got 12 GCSEs, but this one goes by they, them. Ooh, which one should we go for? No, it's not going to fucking happen, is it? No one cares. You know? In fact, these days, any normal person, see that's where the divide's coming in as well. In fact, any normal person, if they saw they, them on a CV, bin it. Just get for. I ain't got time for any of that shit anymore. Bollocks to. But I'm sure somebody that's DEI hire and woke would look at that and go, oh, we have to hire them. They're a they, them, fucking she, her, be, him, Zayn, or what the fuck it is. I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I don't know where all this comes about. But there you go. So we've got soldiers living next to asylum seeker barracks fear for the safety of their women and children, of their wives and children, when they're being deployed. So this is a barracks in Inverness, and it's something called Black Watch Troops. They're preparing to go overseas for postings, and they're concerned. They're concerned about leaving their wife or girlfriends behind with their children in barracks where asylum seekers are going to be right next door. And with everything that's going on in Britain at the moment, I genuinely do not blame them. In fact, if I was a soldier, I'd probably refuse to go. I would say, you know, why would I go to a war zone when I'm leaving my family in a war zone here in the UK? Who in their right mind would do that? So I'm absolutely behind these guys. If any of them decide, do you know what, I'm absolutely not going. I'm behind you. Absolutely. I support that. So good on them, I think. I hope they do band together and just say, no, we're not going. We're not leaving our women and our families behind, just to be defenceless against everything that's going on in Britain. So the next story is the IQ of Europeans is dropping due to technology, says researchers. Is it? Is it really? Yeah. Is that what it is? That's the IQ of people, of Europeans, is dropping due to technology. I don't think it is. No, I agree. The IQ of Europeans, including Britain, including the UK, is dropping. I don't think it's because of technology, though. I think it's because of all the invaders, because they're dumb as shit. And even second generation invaders, they don't seem to integrate. They seem to have an alternative agenda that they want to align themselves to, rather than getting a good education, growing up to support your families and have kids. What we would call Western culture, they don't seem to be aligned with that in many more ways than what they're letting on, I think, as well. There are some telltale signs, you know. So there you go. Jesus Christ. So we've got a 13-year-old boy who was hospitalised in savage attack, and the police have refused to take action. The whole thing was caught on camera, so that they can't say they're innocent or anything. The whole thing was caught on camera, and the 13-year-old boy has gone to hospital. Police have obviously been called, and they've said no further action. Sad face. Who's surprised, by the way? Who's surprised? Anyone? No, me neither, surprisingly. So it does show that this is a gang of, what is it? Touchy area. This is a gang of black kids beating up a white kid, and basically the story is it's all about racism again. If it's any other ethnicity beating on white people, it's fine. It's fine. That's not racism, and we should drop that and get rid of it as soon as possible, because you don't want that getting out there. No. But if it's a white gang beating up any other ethnicity, then my God, BBC News are literally in a private jet. They're in a helicopter getting over to you to get that on the news. Yeah. I mean, there was that a couple of days ago, wasn't there, where there was a black kid, didn't he threaten to rape a girl in school, and there was like two white boys that gave him a few whacks and stuff like that. And yeah, that was, again, when it went live, when it was shared, everyone screamed racism. And yet here we are, a group of black youths that have beat the crap out of a white youth, so much so that he's been hospitalised, and nothing. I mean, has anyone else heard about this news other than here? There you go. This is why I do this. So there has been a sexual assault in Doncaster, so in my neck of the woods, really. That now, I hope they catch this man, and obviously it's fucking disgusting what this woman has had to go through. I genuinely feel for her. But this happened on the 25th of September. Between 8:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. Sorry, so it happened on the 25th of September between 8:30 and 9 a.m. And it's reported that a man sexually assaulted a teenage girl on a bus travelling from Doncaster bus station to Armthorpe Road. So try and remember back to the 25th of September. Why have they waited until now to release this? Why? If that happened on the 25th of September, you'd want to get that information out there as soon as possible. You'd want people looking for this prick as soon as possible. So why have they waited until, what, the 3rd, is it? The 3rd of... Yeah, the 3rd of November. Why have they waited until the 3rd of November to put this story out and to appeal to the general public to say, we need to find this guy? Genuinely feel for this woman or girl. I don't think it said how old she was. Sexual assault in Doncaster. It just says a teenage girl. So I genuinely feel for this teenage girl. But if it doesn't fit their agenda, it just doesn't go very far. Do you know what I mean? It does say the man is described as South Asian, around 50 years old, of a muscular build, with thinning short brown hair and grey-brown beard. Do you know this man, who you might have seen on the 25th of September? Fucking joke, this country. So, I want them to find this guy. I want him to serve justice. I want that girl to be okay. It's just... why have they left it until now to say anything, to do anything. It just blows my mind. But what can you do? I can't do anything. I'm just one man. So we've got a do you know what? I'm not gonna, some of these are a bit really depressing. So UK has been told that London could be treated like Ukraine and could be plunged into darkness by Russia, because obviously Russia sells us all of our, well, majority of our gas and different things, that if they simply said, no, we're cutting you off, you'd be plunged into darkness, because we're so reliant on other countries now, such as Russia, for our energy. It's pathetic. It really is pathetic. And I mean, does anyone remember when the Russia-Ukraine war first kicked off, and all these different countries said, yeah, we're not going to deal with Russia anymore, we're not going to do it. We were one of those countries, England, we were one of those Britain, we were one of those countries that said, right, we're cutting all trade with Russia, we're not going to buy anything from them anymore. And all we did, because this is Britain at the minute, never ever forget that, and nothing is what it seems. So all we did is we got a third party to be the go-between Russia and Britain. That's what we did. So on the books, we didn't buy from Russia after they invaded Ukraine. But in fact, we did. All we did is Russia put what we need in another country, we'll pick it up from there, and then we've bought it from them. We haven't bought it from you, we've bought it from them. Yeah? You see how that goes? You see how that works, yeah? But I can't remember what country it was, because obviously this was like, what, 2-3 years ago now. I think it was Scandinavia, I think. I don't know why I've got that in my head, stuck in my head. Look it up on your own, because I always encourage you to look up anything that I report and find out for yourselves. I will give you the sort of information up front, and then I hope that you look these stories up for yourself as well, because it's good for you to do a bit of research. It's good for you to look into things yourselves. And I hope that I can nurture that and help you get there, you know, where you're doing your own research too. Yeah. Okay, so what's the next story? We've got White Poppy campaign to decolonise Britain. I'm just going to have some water, getting a bit dry throat. Noisiest bottle in the world, that is. Fucking thing. So White Poppy campaign to decolonise the red poppies. This is our history. It's red poppies for a reason. You can't change shit like that, because it loses its authenticity. It loses its value. And once you've kind of changed it to that, people start saying, oh, you know, that wasn't the original colour and of the poppies and things like that. And then, you know, 6 or 7 generations down the line, people are just like, oh, I don't even care anymore, and that's it. It just dies, and it happens far too often. But I mean, it's going to happen in Britain anyway. We're a dying country, and we're already gone, to be honest. So this is back to the Huntington guy, the stabber man, the dickhead. So one of the guys that he stabbed was a was a footballer for Scunthorpe United. So the reason I picked this story is because it's getting to a point now where it's not just normal everyday people that are starting to get affected now. It's celebrities too. It's everyone. I mean, the only thing I could say is I'm not looking forward to, but I'm interested to see what happens when it's politicians that start getting attacked, when it's politicians that start getting robbed, when it's politicians that start getting stabbed, basically, and then they'll be forced to confront the fact that there is a problem in Britain. So it's obviously not a good thing. This, of course, it's not. It's a terrible thing, but it's one of those things where I have to word this very carefully, where you're sick of regular people being the brunt of the violence in this country. And let's say if someone like, I don't know, Piers Morgan or something like that, if he was to get robbed, if he was to get stabbed or something, then, you know, it's one of those things where everyone would have to take notice, even politicians and everything. And it's only when their own are hurt that they notice. So it's... You can't sort of say too much about it because you know that you'll just get arrested. I know that the police have been knocking at my door. But yeah, it makes a big difference when it's celebrities that get attacked, put it that way. So you've got the BBC, yeah. They're reliable, aren't they? They're a good news source. Oh, BBC Verified. BBC, good God. Useless. Oh, just lies. But the BBC have been blasted for deliberate doctoring of Donald Trump's speeches to kind of make Britain come off better and to make Keir Starmer come off better. And yeah, I absolutely believe this. This is one of those things, again, this is why, one of the reasons I started my channel, because you can go onto BBC News or Sly News or ITV or something like that, and you could get a version of a story that's completely different from anything else, from any other version of the story. And it's like when you get an attack or something like that, you know, usually the headline is 10 people in hospital after attack. After incident on train. You know, they'll leave out important pieces of information, that it was a knifeman, wasn't British, he was a second generation immigrant, and he did shout Allah Akbar while he was just before he was being arrested. So again, make of that what you will. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, obviously I don't mean to laugh at these stories. It really is a laugh or cry situation. I don't find any of it funny. It's just how I deal with different things. I just find Britain at the moment so ridiculous. Nothing works. I honestly don't understand how the people of Britain have not just put their tools down and just said, we're not doing it anymore. I genuinely don't understand how that's not happened. But here we are. I will carry on just reporting on stories that I find interesting, and I hope you find them interesting too. And that's all we can do really. And until somebody puts organisation out there that's willing to just get everyone together on board and just say, no, we're not going to do this anymore. This is it. The only person that I can think of that would be able to do that would probably be someone like Tommy Robinson or perhaps Farage. You can't mention any left-leaning peoples or organisations because they really are all wimps, and they've got no backbone whatsoever. So it'd have to be a right-wing organisation for it to get any kind of momentum at all. But I'm rambling. This is the end of the Monday evening news. I hope you feel a little bit smarter. I know I certainly do. But if you've made it to this point, well done to you, and thank you for watching. I genuinely appreciate it. At least I know that I'm not just rambling to myself in an empty room for 41 minutes. Told you it'd be a little bit longer tonight. I think I did say between 40 and 45 minutes. So yeah, I got that right. Yes. But I shall see you tomorrow. I hope I've got nothing to report tomorrow. I hope tomorrow I can just sit down on this chair and say nothing's happened today, So let's see if that happens. Let's all hope for it. Let's all cross our fingers, our fingies, and wish as hard as we can that it happens, that there's nothing to report tomorrow. Ready? 1, 2, 3, wish! Good. Thank you. Right, I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy.